Welcome back, economics students. Earlier in class we had a discussion about how a couple of the real evils of the economy are unemployment and inflation. And so in this lesson here we're going to extend our skills in creating column charts and take a look at unemployment rates for selected countries. So some of them I have given to you, and then you are going to go online and try to find some current unemployment rates for these countries. And you're going to try to find something for a current year, 2015, 2014, 2013, something in that range. And then you're going to go ahead and enter those into these cells. And then also during this lesson, you will learn how to calculate a percent change using Excel. And then as far as the charts go, you'll begin by first charting a single series using the figures for 2010. And then we'll create a second chart that will include the new figures that you find for a more current year of unemployment. And so that will have two series of information, 2010 and then the more current year. And then we'll go ahead and do another chart that just create a graph for just the percent change. And then also we'll want to take a look at just some Excel formatting and how you can answer these questions. And to answer those questions within a single cell by formatting the cell to wrap the text and avoid having that long run-on sentence running out on the same row. So to begin with, go ahead and enter this information right here into a new worksheet. Once you've completed entering this information, go ahead and create a single series column chart using these values. And then you're going to save that this time as a separate page within your workbook. And so it will look something like this as a quick review for you here. You're going to select those values. You're going to select the column. You'll go through and make all of the necessary adjustments. And then when you're finished, you're going to right-click and move the chart to a new sheet, give it a name, click OK, and then you will notice that you have a nice large column chart. And I will come around and take a look at that as you complete that. So go ahead and get this done before you move on with the remainder of today's lesson. The next task is to go online and find the unemployment rate for a more current year. Try to find 2014, 2015 for these countries, and then enter those values. And then once you have that finished, create another column chart, except this time have two series so that your bars or your columns are side by side. And then once again, save that as a new sheet within your workbook. And once you have that finished, get my attention and I will come by and take a look at that. So at this point you have two graphs saved as two different sheets. You've got a column graph for 2010 unemployment rates for these countries, and then you created a two-series graph, column chart or column graph, including a new years worth of unemployment rates for these countries. So next we need to calculate the percent change from a current year unemployment to the 2010 year of unemployment. And for some reason this calculating this percent change is challenging for students. And so I'll go ahead and go through the first one for you and then let you go ahead and practice on the remainder of these. And then we'll also cover how you format that calculation to make sure that the order of operations is done correctly. So first up, I need to put in a value for a more current year. I'm just going to make one up. Let's say this is 2015. And then I'm going to put in, let's say, we'll put in 6.2%. I'll put in 0.062 and increase that decimal. There we go. And so what we want to do is calculate how much of a change. And so we want to calculate the percent change. And frequently what happens, the mistake that's made, is that a student will take the 5.2 and divide it by 6.2 to get the percent, and that's not what we want to do. We are trying to calculate a change over time. And so we need to look at how much it's changed, the actual magnitude of change, the difference between these two values, and then we're going to have to divide that difference by what it changed from. And so this is going to be our denominator. Our numerator is going to be the difference between these two values. Denominator, what it changed from, or the value in 2010. So in Excel, as you now know, we always begin every formula with an equal sign. And so what we're going to have to do now is use parentheses to control the order of operations, because we want to calculate that difference before we do any division. So click on the new value minus the old value, parenthesis, divided by, use the forward slash, the old value, or the 2010 value. Click our check mark, and there we go. The percent change was an increase of 19.2%. Now, we know it's an increase of 19.2% because it's shown as a positive number. If for some reason this value had been 0.042, then we would see that we had a decrease. The percent change, and the way you would state this is, there was a decrease of 19.2%. And so that's how you would calculate percent change. Go ahead and practice that for each of those. Don't merely just copy the formula. You need to practice it. So in the future, you'll know how to do it, and especially as that test time comes around, you will remember how to do that calculation. So practice it for the remaining countries. Next up, we will analyze the table and the charts that we've created and answer these questions. So the first thing to do is to go ahead and format a cell so that we can type in our answers. So let's do it this way. First of all, we are going to change the height of the row, and we're going to do that by clicking in the area or the border between rows. And so we'll take and drag that down, and you'll see that our height is increasing, and I'm going to take it to just about 100 there. I want to use a similar font size, and so on mine I'm going to have to change that to 26. Yours is probably fine. And then I will also want to format where this text is positioned. And right now you can see it's down here, down on the bottom. And so I want it to be on the top alignment, and then flow down. And then we're going to format it so that it wraps within that cell. If we don't do that, you're going to end up with something like this. Like if I want to answer the first question, which country has the highest unemployment? The country with the highest and so you can see what's happening here is that it is just bleeding over into these other cells, and so we want to avoid that. And the way we're going to do that, well, a couple ways. Once again, we can do it. Here's a real quick way to do it. Point to that cell and right click, choose Format Cells, choose Alignment, and then here, Text Control, choose Wrap Text. Click OK. And then you can come in here and you can put a number 1, the country with the highest. And now you can see we're wrapping within that cell. Unemployment in 2010 is whatever it is that you determine it to be based on your information. And then move on and do that in a similar fashion for the next 6 questions. So the total of 7 questions for you to answer. And once again, if you have any questions, need any clarification on these questions, then certainly ask, and I will enjoy that conversation with you. So good luck answering those. I will be coming around and we can discuss those further. So here are the questions. Go ahead and zoom those in for you. And that will conclude this video on charting unemployment rates for selected countries.